And then the example thing, I had kind of touched on this with you, but there was, it's a hard day. It's a hard day to be in the public because you don't totally understand what's going on. So you have somebody coming in who could possibly be a male, could be a female, could be not, like, you don't know what the heck is walking through your door. You just really don't. And I get it.
And they don't know either.
It's not a big deal. But you don't even know how to talk. You can't say, like, okay, ma'am, let me, like, you can't say ma'am, you can't say sir, you can't say hello person. It's ridiculous. It's gotten to the point of absolute craziness. Then you'll have one, come in one day and it's a male, and then that same person comes in the next day and they're a female. Like, there's no, it messes with your brain a little bit just because we're not used to it, So I had this gal, I believe she was a male. And I don't know the proper terminology. I really don't.
It doesn't matter.
I'm old school.
Yeah.
So it was a person wanting to be a female, and they presented like a female and felt like they were a female. They had their top half taken care of, and the bottom half was still male. And so she would come in, and she had, picked this really sparkly, far out, dazzling name. And you could see when she came through the door, like, diva is the only word I can think of. She wanted to be a diva. She wanted to be noticed. She wanted to be the center of attention. She wanted to be first. Like, she was pissed off and threw a fit. Reminds me of, I probably shouldn't say famous people's names, but I'm sure you can think of some divas. Somebody who would just come in, she wanted to be first, and if she wasn't, boy, everybody in that place was going to hear it and pay and suffer until she got what she wanted. And it was really not a joy to serve her. Like, she was not a cool person at all in any way, shape, or form. And so, I tried to be as nice as I could, but I have no tolerance for that type of entitlement.
Ridiculous.
Where it's at the expense of someone else. Yes. And she didn't care who it was. She didn't care who it was at all. So over time, I would make her wait her turn, and I would if you're really cool and nice, great. That's one. But if you're coming in stomping on everybody, no, we're not going to reward your behavior. We're not going to reward your behavior.
We're not going to participate in your charade.
What is it?
I said, we're not going to participate in your charade.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Right.
And so we didn't, and I think she saw that it was a fruitless attempt, the people who, and this is part of it, going back to the owners and going back to the people who are perpetuating that old business model. Before I got there, the ones that were there would reward this behavior. They would gobble it up. This was the center of their life, this place that they would go to. And so they would cater to that. Oh, wow. They would give her what she wanted. So she was trained to be this way. She was trained to, when I walk in here, I get, and for what? You did nothing. You did just for existing because you got boobs. I don't know why. And so by the end, and it wasn't that long, it really was maybe 6 months. 6 months later, I remember having a really, elderly lady that was having a hard time. She was trying to focus. She was really preoccupied with holding up the line. She was worried that she was in the way, but she had services that she needed, and she needed things taken care of. And that girl that had been such a diva and such a problem was the next person in line. And she kept, I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I guess just because people can change.
Yes, people can change, yes.
The little old lady kept looking at that girl in line and apologizing and saying, I'm so sorry. And she was not in a hurry. She goes, I'm not in a hurry. You're just fine. You take over. And to see her get to that humble place where she could put someone else in front of herself and respect the elderly and understand what's going on and not be the center of attention. Man, that was a cool thing to see.
Yes.
And it was by, like you said, being the example. We had to be the example. We had to be the example. And it was hard, and you got shot down and you got abused and you got all this stuff, but it worked for one person.
Yes.
And that's really cool. And she's become just a really beautiful, neat person, and so different from the beginning when people were feeding her bad habits. So that's all I have.
So there is such a thing as people
it's
changing.
Not hopeless.
There's such a thing there's such a thing in films, but in real life characters too, as reversals. You can,
And it's neat because when it happens, you feel it. You don't have to be religious and you don't have to call it a whatever. I just use my terminology because that's what I know. But I would call it the Holy Spirit. Like you felt that whole place was filled with this warm love and respect and safety. And it's tangible. Like you could feel it. It was coating everything.
And everybody gets what they need and what they want. And
correct.
Business goes on, you know what I mean? Like things work.
Yeah.
It's optimal.
They made more business.
That's
they made
right.
more business from that.
Twice as much, 3 times as much, 5 times as much.
3 times and climbing.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I got stories like that too, but I'm not going to get into it. But you put one person in charge of a business who thinks they know what's happening. They have no clue about people. They have no clue about society. They have only their ideas, and they're doing a certain amount of business a month, or a certain amount of business per day. And then here, along comes somebody who maybe doesn't have the degree, or just as an employee who gets a job, and suddenly the whole place kicks into high gear, and the owner, has no clue as to how this transformation transpires. But it's because of the spirit of that person.
Correct.
The person who is rightly ordered instead of just disordered, encouraging more disorder. Yes. Then people say, oh, isn't it lovely to come to this shop even though it's in the hood? Or isn't it lovely to buy things here even though, last week it was a freak show?
They do. They said it's the new happiest store in the neighborhood.
Yes, see?
Everybody comes there just for that.
Yes.
Just to see us and just to be around a type of person that's not common out in the world. And I refuse to believe it's not common. I just, for whatever reason, people aren't out there doing it or whatever. I've met too many people that are that way to believe that it's not common. So I don't know why they're not doing it. I don't know why they're not showing it, but they're there. They're out there. And, someone like me pulls that out in them. I can pull out somebody's beast, or I could pull out somebody's angel. I tend to dwell in the angel side. So their angel comes out to match me for the most part. So it's there. You just need to be willing to be the person first, be the example first, to open up and go, angel right here, anybody else,
And not everybody is used to being the example. However, you can be the example anytime. You can change your mind anytime. You could take the high road anytime.
Well,
you can get in the habit of it. You know what I mean?
The thing is, being the example is literally just living in right action.
That's
I don't know how better to word it, but when you are legit, when you're not a phony, when you just really are the way you are and you do it all the time, that's how you're the example. It's not that you're doing something. You're not going out of your way to do, you're just being who you are, but you did the work to get rid of. I had to go through the work to stop throwing tantrums in public, to stop demanding my way. I had to work on that, and then when I got to be a really nice, great person to be around, you just do that all the time and other people start copying you. That's how you be the example.
You're an exemplary example. You're an atypical person, of course, but you're a great example. Someone who people, they vibe with you, then they feel you, then they get you, and then they themselves say, hey, wait a minute, I don't have to be this. I can be that. So people are lucky to encounter you, whether or not they like it.
I just would really love to encourage other people to do it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I would love to see more people I've never regretted being kind or nice. I've never been sad that everybody in the place was being awesome. That's never been a bad thing, and there's no reason that it can't be taking place. There's no reason that people need to be walking around wreaking havoc in public places.
Yes.
It's unnecessary. And if you're doing that in public, I can only imagine what you're doing to your family.
Yes.
In the privacy of your own home. And that's really sucks and that's sad. And you're going to be held accountable for that, whether it's here
not
or
acceptable.
later.
It's unacceptable.
Get it together. Yes, unacceptable.
It's just unacceptable in public or in private. And you might think you're getting away with it, or that it's all fine and dandy, or that you're the one, but you'll find out one way or another.
You don't know who's watching you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we did a long session. We have to chop it up in 10 pieces, but
I think it was a nice start to get warmed up.
A very nice
new
start.
Year. I'm very excited about this new year, but we could talk about it on the next one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get me excited about it.
I'm ready.
I might be excited about it too, but you might be even more excited than me.
Yep.
All right. Well.
How do we sign off?
How about watch this? Watch this. How about this? Wait. Oh, it's some music. It's a drum beat anyway. Hey, is someone else calling in? No. We're just ending it. Hold up. Here we go, right? Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Ding.